we've been joined by our good friend of the podcast and previous guest, Mr. Colin Ager from HEB.
Howdy.
He was actually a panelist on the last panel that just wrapped up the education session, tariffs and duties. But before we get into that enthralling subject on a personal level, obviously you see the value of being here in Tucson at the SWIPE Expo. Is this your first year here?
No, I was at the expo last year, so second time for me. It's situated in a really beautiful part of the country. Tucson's super great, super pretty, and a wonderful facility. But yeah, as a regional grocer and a category manager for HEB, I've been giving a little bit more attention to some of the smaller regional shows lately. We have Viva in Texas. What's nice about them is there's a lot less demands on everybody's schedule. So you, in those few days that you're here, really can spend a lot more like quality time. You don't feel rushed to be getting from one meeting to the next
Sure.
constantly. So yeah, these smaller shows can be kind of a more effective way to have some concrete conversations. So
Efficiency,
yeah,
for sure. And in a very relevant part of the country, obviously, with Nogales
for
being
sure.
so close by. And
Yeah.
I'm sure those that region aligns well with the commodities that you manage.
Yeah, a lot of our partners and that have crossing points in Texas have crossing points here, or this is their actual headquarters. So yeah, a lot of partners to see out this way.
So it sounds like a no-brainer. As far as the education component, you were just on the panel for tariffs and
Yeah.
duties. I think we've heard a lot about tariffs and duties, still a lot of unknowns. Anything that maybe some of your fellow panelists shared with you that was a particular surprise?
We've all been kind of getting used to it, right? I mean, nobody wants tariffs on food, frankly. No one wants higher cost food, not even the administration. And we've seen a lot of willingness for them to kind of adapt and make some changes. Everyone touched on how stressful it was, in every part of the supply chain when this stuff was announced, and then it was changing all the time. Felt a little bit more stable since then, but we're all still a little anxious about that too, right? And recent news headlines, it's been a discussion topic again. Are we going to be facing some changes? So just the insecurity is never good in business where you're thinking long term, you're thinking about contracts, you're thinking about on the supply end, how to position labor, how to position your capital assets. You don't want a bunch of variables changing over the course of time. So everyone's still, concerned about that. And that was in various ways as a retailer, and there was a broker in there and food service distributor giving some point of views on how it's impacted us.
So if I asked you what's the hardest thing you've had to execute against this year, would you say tariffs is up there?
Yeah,
Or is
no,
it the top?
no, I would say that was the top for me and the commodities that I manage. Yeah, having that kind of thrown at us, and a lot of tense conversations with suppliers, people that you feel close to, and them as human beings, and we're all just put in a new situation and trying to figure out our way through it. Yeah, that was, I would say, the toughest part of the last 12 months. But as we're speaking now, we've got a nice winter cold event heading for Texas. You and I are both Texans, so that's
supply, right?
that's top of mind right now.
Yeah. We've talked with other guests earlier about water and the shortage of water and less volume being grown by producers. Probably required some diversification of suppliers. I'm assuming that's been
I
somewhat
can,
challenged.
and just maybe like for me on Romas, for tomatoes anyway, it's a little bit like a diversification of how we're going to structure the programs, right? Like we moved a little bit further away from, having locked in cost positions or something. On both of our ends, we wanted some flexibility because it's a little bit easier to react to just how a market's moving than have to have a tense conversation every 2 weeks as things change. But you can't just quickly change supply. We can't just all pull out of Florida. That's complete impossibility. So no, supply is not dramatically different of who we're working with or where it's coming from. But you like you said, there is less, right?
Yeah.
So tariffs are funny. It can sometimes be a lagging cost input, and that's what we're seeing on tomatoes. But if duties stay in place and there's less in the ground and less people crossing, it's going to eventually be something that's flowing through and making produce more expensive.
So, would you say that that's what's keeping you up at night the most? Is that the majority of your bandwidth? figuring out how to avoid service interruptions, product,
Well, we all have as you're in the industry for a while, you have experience dealing with that. I'm fortunate to feel like I've got some really good partners who are together. We can try to take a long-term view, and the value for both of us of having a 10-year relationship is much higher than who's over who for a month in a PO transactional way. As a leader for HEB, what keeps me up really is our own markets and our own store operations. How do we have the best quality produce at the right price for a growing network, right? Like, how do we get into the Dallas market strongly and build a great reputation there? But at the same time, like, one thing that makes HEB different is we're here to serve all Texans. That's our mission, right? We're all over San Antonio, all over the valley. Texas has a lot of very healthy metro economies, but we have a lot of people that don't have a lot of extra money for luxuries in life or food. And it's really important that we're always able to serve them well and properly. So balancing that with what we're just talking about with tariffs and an ever-growing network that always feels like it's at capacity, it's what I think about.
I know you're going to try to get home tonight.
Yeah,
So good
gonna
luck.
beat the weather.
Good luck with that. I might be driving if my flight gets canceled again. So if your flight gets canceled, it's going to be a road trip.
Right. Yeah.
Or maybe even a convoy.
All right. As long as we can stop at a Buc-ee's.
For sure. Well, Colin, thanks for your time.
Bet, Ed.
Thank you for being here. Thanks for the insight. And as Colin said, don't miss SWIPE Expo now 2027 next year, since you're not here now. It's a great event and in a beautiful part of the country. So we'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching.